What is a secure credit card and how does it work? Find out in today's Shaggy's Ideas. Okay, let's be very real. Credit is a bit complex. It's kind of something that we don't really know much about when we're younger because nobody really teaches us about it. We don't learn about how to build credit or what is it good for in school, now do we? When you're starting to build credit, there's no actual history or anything these financial institutions can go off of to verify if you're trustworthy. They don't know if you're good with debt. Or let's just say, in a worst case scenario, you have bad credit. This is where a secure credit card comes into play. Either you have no history or you have a bad history. Maybe late payments, maybe you went on a default, and many other situations that could lower your score. They don't trust you. Why? Because it's risky. It's risky for them to lend you money when they don't have any evidence that you could pay it off. Especially if you have no working income or something, right? And even if you did, if you have bad history, it shows them the evidence that you're not gonna pay. That doesn't really help your case. I mean, in their eyes, it looks like you might try to run off with the money if you have a history of late payments, etc. So that's what these institutions are thinking. But what's the point? This is where a secure credit card comes into play. It's a perfect solution for this trust issue between you and these financial institutions or these banks. It's a solution where both parties can benefit if done correctly. But what's a secure credit card? A secure credit card is literally a regular credit card that allows you to build or fix your credit, but there's a catch. But what's the catch? Well, it's simple, a refundable security deposit. Of course, make sure to read the terms and conditions and make sure that it's refundable, but it usually is. So yeah, you give them your money, right? A refundable security deposit, but how does it work? And what does this all mean? Well, since they don't really trust you, like I mentioned in the beginning, either because you have no history, so they have no evidence that you'll pay, or you have bad history, so they have evidence against you. It basically resolves this with a little trust refundable deposit, basically, right? For example, in the case of Discover, like I have the Discover It Secure card, right? It's not secured anymore because I graduated and I got my money back. But in their case, the minimum is around $200 to get a credit line. And you get a credit line identical to the amount that you deposit. So if you deposit $200, you're gonna get $200 of credit. You deposit $500, you get $500 of credit. But wait, what is this money used for? It's basically saved up and used as collateral in case you try to, waste all the credit they gave you and try to run off. In any case, they would pay off the loan with the money that you gave them. And this is completely legal. I mean, you signed the papers, you read the contract, and you gave them permission to use the money in case you did try to run off. But it is refundable if you use the credit card correctly and don't try to run off. If you try to run off, you just waste your time, you waste your chance, and you waste your money. You waste your own money. It's not the company, it's your own fault. So use it correctly. If used correctly, it could be excellent for building credit. They lost nothing and you just got reported to the credit bureaus. Basically, you lowered your score even further if you already had it low. It's a great way to start building credit or fixing that already broken credit score that you might have. But make sure that you do not use it irresponsibly. Make sure that you use it correctly so you can start building that credit and you don't end up wasting your money and your time and your chance to build good credit. How to use it correctly? Check out the video on the top on how to get a 700 credit score after this video. Anyways, when do you start getting your money back? It's refundable after all, right? It depends on your use. If you use it responsibly, you'll get it sooner, theoretically. And if you use it less responsibly, well, it might take longer. It could take around 8 to 12 months, give or take. Maybe a bit more, maybe a bit less. So yeah. You will receive an email, at least that's how it worked with me and Discover. I received an email letting me know that they were going to be refunding my security deposit. And bam, you're supposed to receive it around like a week to 10 days later, something like that. I personally graduated that period around 8 months. It took me around 8 months, maybe 9, to get my security deposit back. And I never had any late payments whatsoever. So I think it took me like 8 months and a half. I got my security deposit around month 10 though. Why did it take so long? So in my case, it was a very, I guess, rare instance where I personally never received my security deposit, even though it was sent to me. I can already hear my parents being like, "Oh, they stole your money. I told you shouldn't trust these people with your money. You waste your time." Yeah, not really. I did get my money back. I just called up customer service and they were very quick to try and fix my issue. I just called Discover and I was like, "Hey, I was wondering when I would be receiving my security deposit. I got my email this day at this hour." I called the representative. She said to call back in around 30 days after you receive the email. You know, if you don't get it by the month, due to the holdup because of this snow or something, make sure to let us know quickly after that after this 30-day period. Maybe there's a holdup. And I was like, okay, perfect. I called back the representative. She was very nice to me, and I really like how, you know, Discover treats their customers. So she was glad to help me out, and she was like, okay, after 10 business days, we start sending the second check. Since I never really got my first one, so it takes a while after that. But, you know, I deposited $400 as a security deposit, and I got that back in a check, and I changed it at the bank, my bank. And bam, I got my $400 right back. So I got it around 10 to 12 days after I called. So not bad. Honestly, it's quite simple. As long as you follow the rules, you don't try anything fishy, and you use it correctly. It's quite simple. But are there chances that you could not get approved? There might be a slim chance, a very small chance, that you get denied. So it's very unlikely that you don't get approved, since you're, you know, giving a security deposit, which basically eliminates all risk to them. So yeah, it's very unlikely. It could happen, but very unlikely, since you're giving a security deposit. So like I mentioned many times in this video, it's great to start building or to start fixing your already broken credit or non-existent credit. However, credit is good or bad depending on how you use it. Credit is like a piece of candy. If you use it correctly, you could use it to sweeten your life. But if you use it incorrectly, you could end up with diabetes. Or in this case, in a world of pain. You could improve your financial life, or you could kill it off completely with debt. It depends solely on you, if you use it correctly. This is based on my own experience. Your results may vary a bit. You know, maybe you might not get it in 8 months, you might get it sooner, maybe you might get it later, maybe you'll get it way later. You know, it depends on you and Discover and or whatever company that you decide to get a credit card from, whether it be Citi or anything else. But just make sure that you use it correctly and you're gonna be perfectly fine. Now, if you enjoy videos like this, let me know by dropping me one of these. And consider checking out the rest of the playlist where I talk about improving your credit score or the benefits of having a good credit score. Those two are very important and things you won't really learn in school. And consider subscribing to Shaggy's Ideas for more self-improvement videos, whether it be financial, physical, mental, spiritual, anything and everything self-improvement. I'll see you guys in the next Shaggy's Ideas. Thanks for watching.